Get ready with me for an outdoor event in Texas. So let's do some makeup that's not gonna budge. You guys, it has been so hot here and so humid. When I tell you the sun is so unforgiving in Dallas, please believe me. Also, it's only June, which means it's about to get so much hotter. Now, my goal is not to use a ton of product on the face, but use the right product strategically, and whatever we put down, we want it to stick. So I'm going in with the e.l.f. Gripping Primer with Niacinamide, color correcting, and I know you guys see this acne scar right here. If I did not take the time to correct that with orange color corrector, that would 100% bleed through my makeup, especially since we're not going full coverage today. Let this dry down just a little bit before we blend it out. And you know it's ready to be blended whenever it starts to look a little bit more matte and less shiny. That means it's gonna stick to the skin so much more than if we would have just applied it and then immediately blended. Locking in the orange color corrector with some sheer powder. And this is the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder. Let me tell you, this is so mattifying. If you do live in a very hot, humid climate, go in with this before your foundation, and I promise you, your makeup will not budge. Going in with Lancome Concealer for the under eye because I want this a little bit brighter. For the outer edges of the face, we're gonna go in with a shade darker to give this some definition. And before you blend this out, you guessed it, we're gonna let it dry. It's had some time to dry, so now we're taking a flat e.l.f. brush and I'm pushing this into the skin. I'm not gonna take it up to the under eye because we're gonna blend that out with a different brush. So we're keeping this really controlled in the lower portion of the face. And then with whatever's left on the brush, I'm just gonna push that into the hairline, but I don't really use a lot of product on my forehead. And I know you see this, it looks a little warm, but once I blend all this out, it's gonna come together. Now going in with the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush and tapping out the under eye concealer, making sure I get into all of these little crevices underneath the eye, down the sides of the nose, with whatever's left on the brush, and just patting that over the chin and through this jawline area. And because I'm pulling this central brightness through the chin and bringing it down, it kind of softens up how warm and deep this color is that we put down first without adding extra product. Now, I don't think I'm going to really contour the outer edges of my face, but I do want to sharpen up the nose just a little bit, and I find that the smaller the brush, the more precision and control I have. Just pulling this through and then shortening the tip and then connecting those lines. And with whatever's left on the brush, I just start to feather this through here to give it a little more shape feeding into the nose. Then I'll just grab that concealer brush and soften up these lines and gently push this product around. Now, I think this is a good stopping point. You could set your face with powder, but I am a little excessive and I do want to brighten things up just a little bit. So I'm taking this e.l.f. yellow corrector and I'm pulling it through the center of the face just to bring things forward a little bit more. These have decent coverage, but I really like it more so for strategically lifting and brightening the under eye. And as I blend this out, you can just see that it kind of gives a little lift to this under eye area. I mean, just look at that. And I really don't use a ton of product. You just need a few dots to mix into your existing concealer to lift and brighten. The most satisfying part is the nose. It's like a little magic eraser over our contour. Now it's time to set the under eyes, and instead of going in with a puff, I'm gonna go in with a little brush. This is from Amazon and it's in my storefront. This applies powder onto the skin nicely, but it also helps me kind of push it in more. And because it's not as big as a puff, I have more precision and control and I can see where I'm applying it versus a puff, because when it's something this big is going through this area, you are using the point to apply product, but sometimes you really can't see where you're going. So for more subtle looks, I like to use a brush. Now for blush, I want something pigmented and I also want something that's going to stay in place. And for that, we need Haus Labs Watermelon Bliss. Look at this blush, okay? This is so incredible. I wore it to a wedding recently, and as I tap it onto the skin, you can just see that it immediately grips onto the skin, first of all. So if you struggle with your blush fading and you don't want to do a cream blush, this is a really good formula for you. And the color, this might be super intimidating when you see it in the store or when you swatch it, but on tan skin, it literally comes to life and it actually shows up. You don't have to layer and layer to get the pigmentation. I know the blush looks excessive, but we're gonna layer highlighter on top of it and it's gonna tone down just a bit. Now for highlighter, there are so many on the market that you can choose from. Because I am gonna be in a humid climate, I don't really want to add another cream on my face. I kind of want more of a powder highlight, but I don't want it to look chalky. And for that, we're gonna bust out an oldie but a goodie. It's the Maybelline Master Chrome Highlighter in Molten Gold. I'm just taking a really fluffy brush and I'm gonna whip it over the face, kind of in a C motion right through here, letting it slightly overlap my brow, our brow bone, and then pulling it in a circle through the bridge of the nose. And clearly I love it. I've hit pan, but with so many new products coming out every single day, it's nice to reach for something that is tried and true. Second to last step, let's lock in the face using the Milk Hydro Grip Spray. Let it dry down to about 80%. And then with a fluffy brush and whatever powder you use to lock in your under eyes, grab a little bit more and lightly tap out your under eyes one more time. Sandwiching that layer of setting spray in between your powder is going to lock in your makeup so much more, but still keep everything looking like skin. Now, because we have that blush sitting on the skin under highlighter and under that final layer of powder, you can see that it's so much more subtle now. And this is the Complexion. We are Texas summer proof. Go to part 2 for eyes. Welcome to part 2 where we're doing eyes. We're jumping straight in with the brown Sephora Collection shadow stick, and we are going to roughly pop that onto the entire lid, taking it up to the crease and a little bit through our waterline. And the reason I'm using this is because these are absolutely waterproof, sweat proof, tornado proof. Literally, your makeup will not go anywhere, but the key is once you put it on, you've got to grab your fluffy brush and blend the edges because it starts to set pretty quickly. Also gonna smudge out that lower lash line. This is gonna be the easiest eye makeup look I've ever done, by the way. Now we're gonna take the same highlighter that we used on our face in part 1, wedge that through the inner corner, and then take our bronzer, and you can even take that same brush that you blended out the shadow stick with, and then lightly push this warm bronzer over the edges of your shadow, working it towards the brow so that you have that warm crease contrasted with the cool toned lid. And I love this because it's beautiful, it's so easy, and it's not gonna budge. I'm also adding that bronzer through this lower lash line, and that's literally it for the eye look. Mascara, lashes, liner, whatever you want, but the base is done and it's not going to budge or crease. It's a pretty casual event, so I'm skipping lashes, and I don't care where I'm going, I will never skip lash primer. This takes your mascara from performing at like a 9.5 to like a 20. It is so good. All you do is coat your lashes, let it dry down for just a little bit, and then pop your mascara on. It elevates your entire look. And this is packed with things that can actually nourish your lashes, and it can be worn alone, but when you layer mascara over it, it comes to life. And it is the only combination that I've ever used that has actually made me skip wearing false lashes, which says a lot. For lips, I've been loving this little combination lately. This is MAC Court, which is such an oldie but a goodie. I might be biased because I'm an old MAC girl, but I think MAC makes. And this is Cam lipstick by Makeup by Mario. Back over again with a little cork, adding a little bit of that By Terry powder over the lip to lock it in but still maintain that creaminess. Maybelline Sun Gloss. A few curls through the front, and this is the finished look. It's skin-like, glowy, and it's not going anywhere.